Really glad that you guys are all on tonight. And so we are covering chapter 2 with the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And so there's a lot tonight. And the law that we're covering tonight is the law of awareness. And this was really interesting. I feel like even though I'm rereading some of these chapters, it just sometimes there's just new things that strike you the second go around. So it's been kind of cool to see that. But I liked what he talked about, how to grow, you must know yourself. You have to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, what your interests are, your opportunities, and gauge where you've been and where you are now. Because in reality, we can't really go anywhere and have a game plan and figure out how to get to where we want to go if we don't first understand where we've been and where we currently are, and where we need to work and where we already have strengths. So especially with what we're doing with Plexus, this is vital, and it's something that's good to think about, kind of have, once a month at the end of the month, kind of review and see, okay, where am I in this regard? So a couple of things. He goes through 10 base. Well, first of all, he goes into one of his main points is how to meet your potential, you must know where you want to go and where you currently are. And then he talks about there being 3 kinds of people. And I think probably we've all been each of these kinds of people at different points. And sometimes we kind of fall back into being, it may change which one of these people we are depending on what's going on in our life. But the first one was people who don't know what they want, or people who don't know what they would like to do. And they're normally confused. And so I've certainly been there in certain life changes where I've just had so much going on emotionally. I was overwhelmed, and I'm just like, what do I want to do with my life? What am I doing? Like, I think we've probably all had some hard moments in life. We've kind of had to refocus on what is important, and what we want out of life and what we want to bring to the table. So in terms of the business that we're in with Plexus, these are people who are just dabbling, people who have no sense of direction. So it's people who, maybe they are like really excited, but then they're like, they're not very consistent with doing the income producing activities. Maybe once a month, they kind of reach out to somebody. And so in the business context, they haven't really looked at what is this opportunity. For those of us, I know there's people, some of you have just started and you're kind of at the beginning of trying to even figuring out what this opportunity is. And then some of you guys have been doing this for over a year. And so you really know what this opportunity is for sure, and what it can bring for you and for others. But as you learn what is possible with this company, it's really, this opportunity, if you want to take advantage of it and really make it what it can be, dabbling is not really a thing. Treating it as a hobby, we talk about that. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby, which, hobbies normally cost you. They don't normally make you money. But if you treat it like a job, not that it has to be a full-time job, you can work it part-time, but not part of the time, is kind of how the saying goes. And so I'd encourage you guys with this opportunity, if you're new, because some of you are, and you may not fully know what this opportunity is for you. You may not even know fully why you want to do this yet, other than that it interests you and it is an opportunity. I'd encourage you to look at what you can make with this company, what it's done for others, and the impact it's having on people's lives, and find what it is and where you want to go with this. So that was my little side note with that. The second kind of person is a person who knows what they would like to do, but don't do it. And I think we've all been there too. When we get to the point, we realize, wow, this can be a huge help for other people's health and wellness. This could help me get out of debt or retire early or help my spouse retire or be able to stay at home with my babies or pay off debt. When we really understand what it can be for us and for other people, we get excited about it. But sometimes we know what to do, those simple steps of reaching out to 5 people a day, following up with 3, and watching 1 training video a day. And then sometimes we don't do it. And I think we've all been there for sure. And so just a little bit about those people. Those people, and if you've been in this position, I've been there, guilty, you get frustrated. When you find yourself being frustrated in the business, a lot of times this is why, is because you know what to do and you're not doing it. And so we have to remind ourselves to put action back into place. Now, sometimes people don't do what they know to do because they're afraid they're going to neglect responsibilities. You know, we're all super busy. Some of you have kids at home, you know, babies. I know Della's got 2 babies, and, you know, that's super important. That's a main priority. So you have to prioritize your life. You know, some of you guys have full-time jobs like I have. You have other responsibilities, you know, with, you know, either church or friends or family, or, you know, whatever it is. There's so many things, no matter what stage in life you are. And so sometimes, you know, we don't do what we can with this opportunity because we're afraid somehow that we're going to neglect the other responsibilities that we have. Sometimes it's because we're not willing to pay the price, and to basically pay the price to learn how to do this business, learn a little bit about the products, grow and move closer to what it is that you want to get out of this and what you want to do for others. You know, learning, they talk about growing pains, right? I mean, it's hard to stretch yourself to get outside of your comfort zone. And this business really stretches you. It causes you to have to grow more as a person, face your weaknesses, work on those things, embrace your strengths and not be afraid to, you know, face rejection, things that really make us all feel very uncomfortable. And so this business, you know, sometimes that along with fear hold people back. And so sometimes that's what keeps us from doing what we can do in this business and in other aspects of our lives. The third type of person that he talks about are the people who know what they would like to do and do it. Strong sense of passion, they're focused in purpose, they grow in areas that help them move closer to their purpose. And a term that basically defines them is they feel fulfilled. You know, with the first person who didn't know what they're doing, they're confused. The second person who knows what to do and doesn't do it, they're frustrated. But the person who does what they know to do feels fulfilled. And it doesn't mean that they get there overnight, guys. Like with this opportunity, like whether your goal is to make $100, $500, $1,000, you know, go to Emerald, that rank, and be able to make, you know, 6 figures and a Lexus and go to Hawaii for free each year, you know, no matter what your goal is, it doesn't have to be the same as someone else on this call, no matter how big or small it may be. Just know where you're wanting to go and put action behind it so you can feel that sense of fulfillment instead of confusion or frustration. Okay, so I'm going to dive in now to the little list here that he has. Let me skip over here. Okay, he talks about, he says, number 1, do you like what you're doing now? So a lot of times we ask people, you know, with this opportunity, you know, so a lot of people are drawn to network marketing and Plexus, and what this opportunity brings, because sometimes they don't like what they do for a living. And they feel like, you know, they have to punch the clock 8 to 5, and they're tired of having someone else tell them their hours and not having time freedom. Some people join because their spouses are like away on jobs and they're never home with the kids. And so like it's not necessarily they don't like what they do, but maybe their spouse is not available. So they want time freedom for their family in that regard. You know, some people, it's not that you don't like what you do. I love what I do for a living. I'm a graphic designer. I love art and design. Absolutely love it. But I'm tired of being in debt. And I can't live, I only have one salary and I live off that salary. I don't have extra or very little extra, you know, for things because I'm trying to pay off debt. I don't have a lot of extra money to go into debt to make a big dent. And so for me, Plexus is not only something I'm passionate about because it's health and wellness, but it's also a way for me to pay off debt. So many of us have different stories about, what this is for you. But the question is, do you like what you're doing now? Whether that's, and not even just your occupation, but again, where you are in life. Are you in debt and tired of being in debt? Are you wanting more time freedom? What are you wanting out of this? And he was talking about how sometimes, we just get stuck and we get in the grind of things. And it's almost like we're afraid to do anything different because it's unfamiliar. But he said, really, like, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, if you're not successful at Plexus or whatever it is you're trying in life, like, you can still learn something and take something away from it. But I will tell you, if you do what we've been taught, it works. And that's the great thing. This is not just for the few. This is for the many. And that's what I love about our opportunity in particular. Now, the second thing he mentions is, what would you like to do? And so he talks about, he said, have you found and harnessed your passion? Do you know what you would like to do? When you do it, it makes all the difference. Why? When you tap into your passion, it gives you the EE factor. That's energy and excellence. You will never fulfill your destiny doing work you despise. Passion gives you the advantage over others, because one person with passion is greater than 99 who have only an interest. And passion gives you energy. And I think you guys, for those of you who have been around a little bit longer, you have seen that Plexus passion. I think we all have it. I mean, especially if you've been around long enough, you get this like high off helping people. You're like, wow, they've been able to lower this medication, or the symptom is going away, or they're feeling better, or they're being able to pay off their debt with this business opportunity, or they can afford things when they were living paycheck to paycheck. Like, whether it's bringing people into the business and that blessing their family, or the products blessing them, you really get very passionate about it. And I know Vicky's on the call. She works with me. And, one of the things she said to me, she's like, I can really tell you're passionate about this. And it's because it really is contagious when you're helping people and changing their lives. So that is something that, is definitely, if you're going to do this business, find out what it is about it that makes you passionate. Is it helping people, or is it helping your family and having financial and time freedom? Or maybe it's all those things. But find out what it is that excites you and use that to fuel your passion for doing what you're doing with this opportunity. And I like this little thing. He says, nothing's work unless you'd rather be doing something else. And that's so true. Okay, so then number 3, he says, can you do what you would like to do? He said there's a big difference between having a dream that propels you to achieve and pulling an idea out of thin air that has no connection with you, with who you are and what you can do. I feel strongly about helping people with this problem. And he talks about a book he wrote. He said, you must have some kind of criteria for knowing if the desire you have matches the abilities you possess. So he kind of goes through that just a little bit. He says, do you know the difference between what you want and what you're good at? To be successful, you need to be doing something you're good at. Now, I'll tell you specifically with this business, we all have different strengths. Some people I've seen are super, we talk about the 4 color personalities, if you're familiar with that. There are people who are what we call blue personalities. They're super bubbly and social. And it's like, oh, wow, like, they have such skills with talking and being interactive with people. But if you're not a blue personality, that may not be your strength. You may be more introverted like I am. But you know what? Like, you still have other strengths. Some of you guys on this call, you're yellow, and that means you have a big heart. You desperately want to help people. You love people. You care about them. You may not be like the fun, bubbly, all over Facebook, woo, kind of person, but you have a deep passion for helping people. And so many of you on this call are that. Red personalities. I have a lot more red in me. We're driven. We're very business oriented. We have a lot of passion, for making a difference, and, you know, both for people financially and with the business, and with the products. But there's a lot of leadership, and we enjoy that aspect of it. The green people, those are people who love the research, and love the facts and the knowledge and sharing that with others. So, you know, all of us have maybe aspects of all of those things, or maybe some more than others, but know what your strength is. If you're strong at leadership, then use that to help build your team. If maybe that's not a strong area, let that be an area you grow, but find out if you're strong and passionate about, you know, people, and people can see your heart easily because you're good with verbiage. Like Della, she's very heartfelt. So in all her messages, like, she has great wording. Donna's that way. She's just very heartfelt, and you can tell, like, she's so genuine. Like, use what your strengths are in your business. Some people, it's the knowledge of the products or the business opportunities. So just know where you're strong, know where you're weak, so you can see where you can grow and but lead with your strengths. And don't be down on yourself if you're not where you want to be yet in the other areas. And then when what motivates you lines up with what satisfies you, it is a powerful combination. He talks about the more you align these two things, the greater your chances of our success. And so, again, just, you know, putting all that together and discovering your uniqueness, then discipline yourself to develop it further. I mean, I literally will get on YouTube and like say, you know what, I could improve on follow-up. And so I will type in Plexus follow-up, or how to follow up with potentials, network marketing follow-up. Because even if I have some areas where I have some strength, there's some areas I'm like, I could improve on this. So find things that you feel like you need to improve on, or you just want to strengthen even more, and go Google that. There's so many resources out there. So number 4 is, do you know why you want to do what you would like to do? He says, motives matter. And that is really true, guys. When we're messaging people, your motives really, really matter. He said, when you do things for the right reason, it gives you inner strength when things go wrong. Right motives help you build positive relationships because they prevent hidden agendas and incline you to put people ahead of your agenda. Now, how that plays out in our business, you know, all of us, part of why we do this, not the whole reason, but part of why we do this is we know this could be a huge blessing financially for us. Again, whether that's to pay off debt, to retire early, to be able to travel, to be able to stay home with your kids, to have more time with your spouse. It varies, right? And that can also grow and change. But that is an aspect of why we do it. But none of us on this call are just like money hungry and greedy and just in this business for that. And I think that's one of the things I think that's so beautiful about Plexus, is because the products work. They really do transform lives and improve people's day-to-day health and long-term health, for what we've seen. And that's exciting stuff, guys. And if you're presenting with the thought of, this is not about me, you're in business just like anybody else. It benefits you. But if you're not thinking, well, I just got to get them to sign up, when you're thinking more about, when your motive is genuinely about helping them and asking questions so you can see how you can impact them, and whether it's the business that would bless them or the products or both, then they can see that, and your motive, they can see that motive behind it. So moving on, he talks about how your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakens? So really reflect about, and we talk all the time about your why, like know your why. Why are you doing this? And there's multiple reasons why, it's not just one, but really sit down and write down, why am I doing this business opportunity? Why am I sharing these products with others? Why am I taking the products? Why do I want to get where I want to get in this business? Think about that. That is part of even seeing what this could be for you and for others. Number 5, he says, do you know what you do so you can do what you want to do? It's starting to get like a mouthful. He talks about an awareness. He says, picture where you are in any area right now. He says, now picture where you want to be. Richer, thinner, happier, you name it. The first step towards change is awareness. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to start by becoming aware of the choices that lead you away from the desired destination. Become very conscious of every choice you make today so you can begin to make smarter choices moving forward. And I know for me, one of the things is I look at where's my time going. Like if you find yourself sitting in front of the TV and just hours passing, or scrolling on Facebook for hours doing nothing, not even working your business, those are the things you want to catch, because those are sacrifices that really are good to make. You could be doing other productive things in that time. I'm not saying don't ever watch a TV show or don't ever watch a movie, but when you find that you have huge time sucks that literally just ultimately waste your time, when you could be with family, you could be doing some of your business, a little bit of everything that's good. You could be doing more productive things and getting other things in your life accomplished. So here he says, spend some time really thinking about where you're presently heading. If it's not where you want to go, then write down what steps you need to take to go where you desire to go and do what you want to do. Make them as tangible as possible. So this is something that's really good to do each month. And we typically kind of do this in our calls. You should be having a monthly chat with your upline, your sponsor, the person who brought you on, if you're doing the business, just talking to them about okay, what are your goals? What did you do last month? Where could you improve? And this is really just for you to kind of analyze things yourself and then listen and then see where they can help you and support you or hold you accountable. And so this is something, get connected with your upline in this and make sure this is a monthly thing, because that reflection is going to make a huge difference. Because if not, you'll just be aimlessly wandering and you'll never really go anywhere because you're not being purposeful. Now, that kind of leads into the next thing. It talks about action. That means taking initiative. It means doing something specific every day that will take you another step closer to your goal. It means continuously doing it every day. Nearly all successes are a fruit of initiative. And that's why we talk about just that, the daily IPA, or even if you just do it 5 of the 7 days, it's nice to have a day off or, and have that family time. I'm not saying don't give yourself a break. You don't want to burn out, but have at least those 5 days that you're okay, I have 5 days. I'm going to give it an hour, or I'm going to get my 5-3-1 in, just that consistent effort, because it builds. And, we talk about all the time how a lot of times you don't see the results until 90 days after. So the work you do these next 90 days, sometimes you won't see the results of that work until 90 days. So it's that reaping and sowing principle. Now, he talks about accountability, and let me tell you, this stuff is powerful. He says, few things prompt a person to follow through like accountability. One of the ways you can do that is to make your goals public. And that's why when team threads and IPA chats and threads are important. But it says, when you tell others about what you intend to do, it puts pressure on you to keep working at it. You can request that specific individuals ask you about your progress. It's similar to having a deadline that keeps you moving. So again, for those of you who are new, IPA is income producing activities. That's reaching out to new people, following up with prospects. And that's what we recommend people doing every day. And so being in an IPA chat, that's when you post your IPA every day. So you say, okay, I reached out to 10 people or 5 new people or 3 new people. And then, so that accountability, I'm telling you, it makes you feel like, oh, they're going to see that I didn't do anything today. Or, you know, so it holds you accountable in a good way. You know, like it reminds you that you have places to go and things to do. Okay, I got to move a little quicker because we're down to our 10 minutes. But the number 6, he says, do you know people who do what you'd like to do? Oh, actually, I did want to mention one more thing that he talks about here. I missed attraction, and this is huge. He says the law of magnetism is the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership says you are who you attract. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Who you are is who you attract. Okay. If you want to be around growing people, become a growing person. If you're committed, you will attract others who are committed. If you're growing, you will attract those who are growing. This puts you in a position of building a community of like-minded people who you can help one another succeed. So again, if we're not doing our IPA, we're not doing our leader calls, we're not checking in on people, those are the kind of people we're going to attract, and we're not going to go anywhere, and our business is not going to go anywhere. So think about that in terms of the law of attraction. Now, the number 6 was, do you know people who do what you'd like to do? Now, the great thing is in Plexus, we do, because we're a team. And we've got Abby, who's an emerald on our way to sapphire. We've got diamonds who are at the very top of this company who teach us and instruct us, make videos for us, do calls with us. We jump on calls like this. So it's such a social community. Like, there's so many people to mentor you. There's no excuse for any of us not to be able to succeed. There's so many resources, and so many people would make time to help you get where you want to go. You just have to ask and take the initiative. So some things he talks about is being, get committed. You know, he said sometimes that's paying people for their time if necessary. So how that applies to us is, you know, like, Saturday, Vicki and I were going to a mindset training. That cost us money. We had to pay for that seminar, but it's going to help us. We're investing in ourselves and in our learning. So it's buying a book. Thankfully, most of our resources are free, but like buying these books and doing these things, this is a way to invest in yourself and be committed to your learning and personal growth. Be consistent. Be purposeful every month with someone who can teach you. And that we do that each month with our, you know, you should be doing your leader call each month to kind of review the month. Be creative. Start with books. If you can't meet a person, you know, so we can't sit down with John C. Maxwell, but we have his book and we're learning a lot from him. Be purposeful. And he talks about spending 2 hours in preparation for every hour of interaction. Being reflective. So this is, again, when you're having somebody who's mentoring you, if you're going to be on the phone with them for 30 minutes, like, do some prep. Like, think through, okay, what are some questions? When I get on with Abby, I know her time is valuable. I have my questions prepared. Like, the things that I know I need to know that's going to most impact my business, I have those questions ready. I'm not just on the phone like, oh, I don't remember what I was going to ask you. Like, I know she's busy and I want to get the most out of my time. So definitely make sure you use your time wisely. Give some thought before you even get on your coaching calls. So number 7 is, should you do what you'd like to do with them? So he talks about, if you have a potential mentor, know it is your responsibility. And he talks about possess a teachable spirit. Okay, we all can learn from somebody else. So don't go in there feeling like you know everything. Be coachable. Always be prepared for the time you get together with your mentor, like preparing questions and things. Set an agenda for asking great questions. Demonstrate what you've learned with your time together. Be accountable for what you've learned. And then when you're the person mentoring, make sure you focus on areas like their strengths, their temperament, track record, passion, choices, advice, support, resources and people, a game plan, feedback, and encouragement. Those are the things that you want to do to add value to the person you're helping. And then number 8, will you pay the price to do what you want to do? I got to the top the hard way, fighting my own laziness and ignorance every step of the way. That sure has a lot of truth to it, doesn't it? When it comes to the barriers to success, we really are our worst enemies. I love that quote. We are really the ones who stand in our own ways. It's not people not signing up. It's not people not believing in this opportunity. We stand in our own ways. We're the biggest obstacle. So we have to get past that. He talks about, know though that things worth doing seldom come easy. There will be good days. There will be bad days. There will be times when you want to turn around, pack it up, call it quits. Those times tell you that you are pushing yourself, that you are not afraid to learn by trying. So the other thing is number 9, he says, when can you start doing what you like to do? Ask people when they will do what they want to do. Most will answer someday. Why not now? Because you're not ready. Perhaps you're not. But if you wait until you are, you'll never do it. And that is so true with this business opportunity, guys. You just have to dive in head first and learn as you go, and know that nobody does it perfectly, and we're here as a team to support one another and learn, and just do your best to do that video a day to kind of learn as you go and reach out to the people in this team to support you and help you. Nobody ever got ready by waiting. You only get ready by starting. And then number 10, he says, what will it be like when you get to do what you like to do? He said, first of all, it will be different than what you imagined. You hear that so many times from people at the top, that it's so far beyond anything they ever had imagined. Another thing he said, though, is when you do get to do what you want to do, it will be more difficult than what you ever imagined. He said, I had no idea how much time it would take to be effective. And sometimes as we get into this business, we realize like the responsibilities that come, and we realize even though it's wonderful and it's a blessing, sometimes we don't always realize what was going to come with that. But he goes into saying, finally though, let me tell you this, when you do what you always wanted to do, it will be better than you ever imagined. There's a compounding return. And I can say that with this business, and I'm not even at the top of this company by any means yet, but I just feel like I have grown so much as an individual. It's affected so many areas of my life. There's so many lessons I have learned that I would not want to unlearn. It's stretching me as a person, and it's changing people's lives. So it's totally worth it. And I'm not even at the top of this company yet. People say there are 2 great days in a person's life: the day you were born and the day you discover your why. I want to encourage you to seek what you while you were put on this earth, then pursue it with all your effort. And I love that, guys. Like, you can have profound effect on people through this opportunity. So I know we've got less than a minute. I'm sorry it took so long, but I am going to unmute everybody in case somebody, before we get cut off, wants to say something. So feel free to jump in if you want to comment. Any takeaways that I didn't mention that you just were like, wow, this quote really was awesome?
I think that overall, I think as you grow, you'll see that your business grows. I just wanted to say that. Like, if you are invested in personal growth, like the months that I see growth in my business are the months that I'm reading and growing and pouring into myself.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's so good. Okay, anyone else? Any other takeaways that you like from this book, or a certain one of those 10 that you were like, wow, that impacted me?
I think you hit them all, Summer.
Thanks, Vicki.
It was good. I'm really loving this book. So.
Oh, it is so wonderful. Well, ladies, sorry, Donna, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't think I've ever really sat and asked myself what I like to do. I've never just, as far as network marketing or a career-wise, I always wanted to be a mom. So that was always my passion, was to be a wife and a mother. And I am. It's great.
Yeah.
But that just kind of really made me think today when I read that.